So, Lauren, just a word on that innings from Heather yesterday. How good is it to have the skipper in such good form?
Yeah, it's been fantastic. She's played really well out here from the minute we arrived, really. She obviously had a pretty good try series. And to bounce back, obviously, after the first loss, she always stands up when we need her. And she's really determined to kind of set an example and lead the way. And that was a fine innings showing, just the character that she is.
Yeah, she mentioned coming out fighting after South Africa. I guess that's something the whole squad wanted to do, but she really kind of embodied that yesterday, didn't she?
Yeah, she loves to lead the pack and kind of pave the way for us. And, she was really determined to come out there. And it was important for us to not just get a win, but a fashion in which we did it, to really turn things around quickly and put our stamp on the competition.
Is that something that sort of inspires you and the rest of the team as well, that she's scoring runs, that you can all do it as well?
Yeah, hugely. I think that's why we play sport. You have ups and downs, and often when you've had a loss or a down, you're more determined to come out firing. I think that's something that we all want to do, and she really took that opportunity yesterday to showcase what she can do and what she's made of, really.
I think she spoke yesterday about how she's learnt that power hitting from batting at 6 and 7. That for you. Is that, do you learn from her and sort of see that that's your future almost?
Yeah, I think so. I think obviously the different positions that you bat in, you evolve your game, and you know that you need different parts to your game. So obviously batting down the order it's been the same for me. Is I know there was parts of my game that I needed to work on to open up more areas of the ground, and obviously you have less balls to do that. So you need to train yourself to be able to get up and running quick and hit the space the minute you go out there, really. And you can see that she's got those gear changes now that maybe 2 or 3 years ago she didn't necessarily have. So yeah, she's really worked on that power hitting element of her game and been able to really work the field and manipulate the field, and you're just seeing it come to life now.
And on you, how are you finding your role slightly further down the order at the moment?
Yeah, it's obviously a different role. I've batted a lot at 6 and 7 over the last couple of years in T20 cricket. You can't hide from the fact that I would like to be able to contribute more and be higher up the order. But the way we've set out our batting lineup is to have an extensive batting lineup, to give people that freedom to let themselves go and really try and play with that positive intent throughout the 20 overs. And obviously, if we get into the back overs and we've lost wickets, then we've still got batters to come. And that's the way we've set up to play. Obviously, our bowlers have been doing a fantastic job. So at this stage, we're really happy with how the bowlers have performed and the bowlers that we've used. And, we know that we need to keep batting well, and we need to keep pushing hard and keep pushing them big totals. Making sure that we're getting 150 plus as often as we can. So that's the way we're set up to play. Obviously, you're not going to play that way every time. It's not going to come off, but that's certainly the philosophy and the way in which our team is currently set up to play at the minute.
And just a word on Pakistan. I mean, they were incredibly impressive last night, weren't they? It was pretty much a perfect performance against West Indies. You played them in a series not so long ago. Do they already look like a much improved team from that series? Yeah,
definitely. I think, to be honest, they played some good cricket in patches in that series as well. I think we can't take credit away from them. I think from looking afar, you can often read results and you win a series 3-0 and nobody really delves into the details. But I think they're a much improved side, and they did play some good cricket over in Malaysia. I think what it has been this tournament is it's given the teams with a lot of slower bowling and teams that don't often score those huge totals an opportunity, because they're on good wickets with really fast outfields. So, often when you tour in the subcontinent, or, like we've played in Malaysia, Sri Lanka, India, etc., with slower outfields and slower wickets, those teams find, often if they don't have a power game, they find it harder. So I think one thing that you have seen over here is that you get really good value for your shot. So those kind of batting lineups and those kind of teams have really come to life in this competition. So I think that's really bodes well for a great tournament. And like I say, the fact that you're playing on good wickets with fast outfields gives, across the board, people a better chance of playing good cricket.
Do you think a lot of people might be surprised by how tight this tournament is shaping up to be?
I think so. Well, I don't know, because before the tournament, everyone, we always believed it would be the best, probably competition, T20 competition, World Cup that we've ever had. There's so many teams now that are on the rise playing, anybody can win it on their day. And obviously in T20 cricket, it only takes one person to stand up, and they can win you the game single-handedly. So I think a lot of the communication and the talk before the competition was that it was going to be, the best ever with so many teams in the running. But I think, the way that Sri Lanka have played, the way that Pakistan played yesterday, it's probably not just, the teams that you expected to be at the top and amongst it, but it's actually been some nice surprises for the teams that you weren't necessarily bringing to discussions quite so much at the start of the competition. So I think it's fantastic. I think ideally what you want is, both groups going into the last group games not knowing who's going to go through, and everybody fighting it out in that last group game. I think, as a player, you'd rather you were qualified before that. But in terms of a spectacle and for the tournament, I think that's fantastic.
Just finally, what about the group? Are you surprised with how poorly West Indies have performed so far?
It's hard really, because West Indies are very much a team that on their day, when they're all up, energetic and firing, they can beat anyone on their day. They've got some really fantastic game-changing players, but equally, you catch them on a day where they're not quite hot and firing, and you can see a very different side to the West Indies. So, I think they are quite an up and down team, but I think when you're playing against them, you still very much got your wits about you, and make sure that you've got to be on top of your game, because they've won the competition before, and when they're up and about and energetic and bouncing around, they're a strong side to beat.
Just a question on Thailand. They obviously bring a real kind of verve and energy to their cricket, and obviously play with huge smiles on their faces. What was it like from your point of view as a player to play against a team like that, and how important do you think it is for women's cricket and the global game in general that countries like Thailand are competing at this level?
Yeah, it's hugely exciting. I think, when we first saw that Thailand had qualified for the competition, you even as a player and as an opposition, you feel a real sense of, really happy for the nation. And to see them playing in a global competition like this is just fantastic. I think you don't want to sound too patronising, but I think for me playing against them yesterday, it really makes you remember why you play the game. I got goosebumps actually. But that real sense of just love the game, absolutely, enjoying being in another country, playing for their country. And yeah, without wanting to sound patronising, it just makes you really think, this is the smiles on their faces and the real pride in playing the game and representing their country is something that we often lose sight of. But it certainly makes you remember, this is really why we play the game, and it's fantastic for them as a country, and it's fantastic for us to meet new people and play against new opposition. So yeah, it's really great for them, and hopefully long may the success continue for them.